What is up, guys? We are live here at Pro Play Games with our Day 2 half-case tournament. Andres Torres, the reigning champion just from yesterday, he must be feeling some type of high. He's not playing the same deck today, though. He took the championship yesterday with Shaddolls. Coming back today, word through the grapevine, he's playing Paleozoic.
Yep, that is my favorite deck of all time, and I am super excited to see this match. It's two control decks. Melvin Torres is on border Eldlich. Right after Paulo's team won, I'd imagine he took that route close to Paulo's list and went a more control route. And so it looks Melvin won the die roll, sets 4, and passes. So Andres, I'd assume, is going to do the same thing if he didn't open up Frog Engine, but desires.
Battle of the back row here. We got two back row decks. Melvin only playing Inspector Border as his monster. And then, of course, Paleozoics. You should know the deck pretty cleanly.
Totally Awesome is on my shoulders, so yeah. So Desires draws 2 cards. Hopefully he doesn't banish his dupes like I did. And he's checking the banish pile. Doesn't see... He raised his eyebrows a little bit, so hopefully that was a good Desires from him. Looking like he's going to set a copy of Dupe Frog more than likely, or Ronin Toadin, and setting a couple back row. You
think he'll play the new Pot of Prosperity? It doesn't work very well with Desires, obviously, because you can't draw in the same turn, but... I mean, what do you think? You think you would give it a shot in Paleos?
In all honesty, that card in Paleos specifically is a hit or miss. While Desiring Away your Frog Engine is super impactful, it draws you 2 cards. Generally, all the Paleo traps act as other frog monsters once the engine gets going. So I'd rather have Desires in my deck to gain card advantage, because 1-for-1ing in this specific deck is just not as valuable as drawing an additional card and gaining that +1. So I'm 50-50 on it. I'd have to test with it. So it looks like on Andres' end phase, he flipped Sanguine to get Golden Lord out on the field. And Melvin drew for turn and is considering his options here. I'd assume Melvin knows something's up and attacks into Dupe Frog. And now he's going to resolve a search unless Melvin has a response like a Solemn Strike. Looks like he's contemplating it. And he lets it resolve. This literally was a curveball out of right field for Andres to pick this deck up of everything. So it's very intriguing. So he adds Swap Frog. This is round 1.
Yeah, guys. This is round 1 of, I think, 5 or 6 rounds. We should get a confirmation after this. A much smaller tournament than yesterday. It's not going to be a top cut or anything like that. If you guys are familiar with our Day 2 events, they're simply just here as a filler for those people that like traveled out and kind of wanted to make a weekend full of YuGiOh. But most of the heavy hitters and bigger attendance is usually on our Saturday event. So this is just an exhibition. People are going to really go outside their comfortable zone, maybe start trying Shaddolls today. All those people that weren't on Shaddolls yesterday, they're like, oh, no better time to try it out now that we have maybe a little bit. Obviously, there's not so many high stakes at the ground, but it's definitely a great time to kind of just like make some improvements that you didn't like from your deck day 1, or just completely just flip the script, just like Andres did, playing a completely different deck, just on the other side of the spectrum.
Exactly. So he goes normal summon Swap Frog. I'd imagine Melvin has a response because he doesn't want Rodent Toad in the yard, especially in this particular matchup. I'd imagine a Halquero would be... I'd imagine either he strikes the frog or lets it resolve. Oh, there you go, he strikes the frog. He could have also, if he had Halquero, he could have let that resolve, and on the activation of Rodent Toad, he banishes the Dupe Frog for a cost, and then Halquero takes out of the Rodent Toad, so... Solemn Strike's going to negate the Swap Frog and just keep the Ronin Toad out of the yard guaranteed.
By the way, we got a prediction going, guys. What do you got your money on, Paleozoics or Border Eldlich in this matchup? Bet those channel points. Channel points are completely free just by watching the stream. You can bet them, and it's kind of like fictional money. I've heard that you can pay your rent with channel points, so definitely make sure that you can get those odds in by predicting. If you have lower odds or higher odds, you'll get an increase on your channel points. So if you're like the underdog in the betting, just like how you would normally bet, your returns can be, tenfolded in return. So that's pretty cool.
All right, so it looks like he's going to only use a blank, and it looks to be another copy of Solemn Strike, just so he gets a trap in the graveyard, so whenever Melvin decides to activate a Conquistador or a Halquero or even another Sanguine, he gets to summon a Paleozoic from his graveyard. So he resolves Cursed Eldland. That card is definitely one of the most powerful cards you can see, getting access to Golden Lord and also getting access to his Golden Land engine. Probably going to search Halquero here since that's the more impactful card. in this particular matchup.
By the way, guys, if you missed all the action from yesterday, very, very heated day of YuGiOh. Andres Torres obviously taking it with Shadal's huge big brain plays by him, especially in Top Cut. If you guys want to double back on all that information, you can either subscribe to the Twitch or become a channel member on YouTube, and you can have access to the immediate VODs. You can scroll through all the matches. You can see all the the talks in between matches from State and the Blessin', or you can just wait on YouTube. We'll be uploading 1 round a day. And obviously that might take a couple weeks for you to get to the finals. But like I said, if you want to subscribe, support the channel, that would be a great way to kind of just get access to those videos on demand. Absolutely.
So Melvin searched out YuGiOh, like I predicted, for the Paleo cards as well as any Rodentons that hit the yard. So end phase is going to flip up Rivalry. So that card doesn't really do much for either player, since they are both mono-type decks. Eldlich being a mainly zombie variant, and when the traps do special summon themselves, they are zombie, just like Golden Lord. And now Melvin's thinking about chaining one of his back row to probably chain block the Paleo, but he does not, and lets the Paleo resolve in grave. So now it's Andres' turn, draws for turn. If he has another water monster up, there we go. Duke Frog has hit the board, and if this sticks, a Toadally Awesome is going to resolve on the field. Melvin's contemplating, maybe has a third strike, waiting for the Toad summon. But if that happens, he's going to add back Swap Frog and get his Frog Engine started that way. And I think Melvin's maybe asking if it's unaffected by monster effects. I think he might have a Conquistador set and is going to try and destroy the Paleo. But it is also a trap card, so that does work. So he's going to activate Conquistador. I'd imagine sending the Paleo, but he's going to Judgment the Conquistador. That's absolutely fine on Melvin's part. That Conquistador is going to turn into a Sanguine at some point. And the Toadally Awesome isn't pressuring the Golden Lord on the field, since it is bigger attack. But during Melvin's standby phase, he's going to create a Dupe Frog on the field, which directs all attacks to it, so the Golden Lord can't actually beat over the Toadally Awesome, and he gains more advantage that way. And Melvin's thinking on the summon of Toadally Awesome. If this sticks, it's going to be a huge pressure swing from Andres, and it resolves, setting 2 more cards in passing. Melvin's thinking on Andres' end phase. As of right now, if he wants to activate any cards and bait out the Toadally Awesome, this would be the time, because he can summon out a frog monster from the deck, and in that case, tribute the frog summoned from the deck. This way his Toadally Awesome will stick. And he's going to attempt to activate something. YuGiOh now. Probably just going to banish a frog monster if it resolves.
Midwest Gaming YuGiOh subscribing with the tier 1. Hey, thank you so much for the support. Really do appreciate it. It really does help us continue to put on great content for you guys. So the fact that I had to pay to watch this is you don't have to watch yesterday's match. Like I said, it's going to go on YouTube for free. You just have to wait a little bit longer. Really do apologize. But remember, if you do have Amazon Prime, which I'm sure 90% of you guys do, you can actually link up your Amazon to your Twitch and use a free Prime sub, and that way it costs you absolutely nothing, and you have video on demand through all the matches. But like I said, all the channels will eventually find their way onto YouTube completely free. But I suggest the sub route, just because not only does it help support the stream, but also you have no ads, and you get to watch it all in one sitting. You can fast forward through the matches that interest you and stuff like that. So definitely consider that route as opposed to the free route with maybe more ads, and it takes a little bit more time on YouTube.
So draw phase. Well, during Andres' end phase, he activated Sanguine to set another back row, but I got negated, it looks like. And he's going to Impermanence in the standby phase in response to Toadally Awesome. Andres wants to think about letting that resolve, since it is Andres' turn. Or no, it's not Andres' turn, it's Melvin's turn. So he's going to tribute Toad to negate the Impermanence, meaning that the back row in the middle column could actually be impactful, as he didn't want that negation of the column to resolve. Going to summon a Swap Frog from the deck, and then Toadally Awesome's effect is going to trigger in the graveyard, adding back another copy of Dupe Frog. All right, now it's Melvin's main phase. Melvin's doing a good job of keeping Rodent Toad out of the graveyard. That is the main way of recursion for the Paleozoic Frog archetype. That is very good on Melvin's part, and it's still an even game state. Nobody's exactly up in card advantage. Andres just has more back row, but Melvin's doing, again, a great job of keeping Rodent Toad off the field, Rodent Toad out of the graveyard. Totally Awesome off the field. And he still has Eldlich on the board, so that's a very, very strong power swing. But he can't, unfortunately, link into anything except the Avenged Savior if he plays that card, or he can link into Vampire Sucker to keep the Zombie Engine out. And it looks like he's going to attack with Golden Lord into Dupe Frog. He's going to Dynamiscus, discarding that copy of Dupe Frog. I assume he's going to banish the Golden Lord. And that banish is huge, since generally the pure Eldlich decks only play 2, maybe 3 copies. Don't know how many he's playing. And that's going to resolve. So Melvin theoretically has only 1 to 2 copies left in his deck. So that is huge. So that means his rank 10s potentially could be dead if he's playing the rank 10 engines. And now Dupe Frog is going to stick. So theoretically, during Andres' turn, he can switch Dupe Frog to attack mode, attack over the Halquera. If Melvin doesn't switch that Halquera to defense, that could be problematic. If he doesn't see the line where he can attack into the Halquera just to gain a Swap Frog and run to an access. And I think he passed. And end phase, he's going to attempt to Oanoides the set. And he's attempting to chain summon back a trap. Oh, he blew up one of his own sets. It looks like.
He has 3 pots of the new.
Yeah, Andres generally.
3 pots. Yeah, probably.
Yeah, Andres generally has all the cards from
Yeah.
the sets before they're out. Let's see.
Have we seen him play one yet? One of the new pots?
No,
No? Okay.
he just played Desires.
So there is a chance that, very small chance that he's not playing it. I mean, he probably has access to it, but there can be some conflict between Desires and that card. Obviously, you do need your extra deck in Paleo, but maybe not all of it. Obviously, you need a Toad and maybe one of the Paleozoics or 2. But
Yeah, so it looks like Melvin's just setting 2 Sanguines from his deck. And he actually Oanoides away the Cursed Eldland. The Cursed Eldland left the board some way, shape, or form. Let's see. Andres draws for turn. And see, Melvin just does not want to activate his traps first, because if he does, then Andres can immediately respond, summoning back a Paleozoic, and that further progressing Andres' game state towards making Opabina Totally Awesome. And if he plays an Anomalocris, so Melvin really is trying to be patient with his trap activations, knowing that they can gain Andres some sort of advantage. He's thinking about going into a Totally Awesome right now, or potentially another Link 2, maybe Opabina. Opabina, yep. He's going to probably pick away at some more back row.
Melvin realizing that it's in a foreign language.
I can go tell him the text verbatim.
Pulling it up on his phone. All you got to do is pull up the Twitch, Melvin. We'll say it right now. Is that the back row killer?
No, Opabina detaches a material to search any Paleozoic, and then it gives the static effect to the player that controls it, that he can activate any Paleozoic traps from his hand without setting them. But in order to actually search for a Paleozoic, he has to have a trap under it. So generally, you detach the monster first, this way you get 2 searches, but that is a Torrential Tribute. So unfortunately, Opabina is not a quick effect, so you can't chain to it. That was a very good Torrential. If I were Andres, I don't know if I would have made the Opabina, knowing that Torrential is a 3 of in most pure Eldlich decks. That might have been a small misstep on Andres' part.
Torrential, very good card, especially in this meta. Seen a sudden price hike in a lot of the Torrential Tribute high rarities.
Yeah, the Hobby League one went to like $50-something. Ridiculous for a Hobby League copy.
Gotta draw it.
So this is what I was saying in regards to Melvin's play. He was forced to activate Sanguine, but Andres now has the ability to special summon a Paleo from his graveyard, which he did in defense, to at least wall up. This way he doesn't take damage, or if that Paleo survives, gives him access to another level 2 water to go into the extra deck. And looks like he just used it as a wall this turn. The Paleo deck is very, very resilient in terms of A, building up walls, B, the trap card's actually doing something. So if Andres can find a way to banish both copies of Golden Lord or survive through all the Conquistadors, Halqueros, and all the Sanguines, the Paleo deck just has more of a grind game than the Eldlich deck for a good amount of the time.
Hey, what's up, Avery?
Avery, my boy.
Oh, Avery, when are you going to come out to the shop, man? We've been getting like so many big names here, and you, Cam, some other players. You guys got to just take the dive, man. Take the dive. Come on out. Come play some YuGiOh with the boys. It's fun. I love seeing all these guys together because as local as Kamal and all these guys from Florida are, at the end of the day, they don't come here locally, so it's really cool every time that we have one of these regionals every like 2 or 3 months. It's always great to see everybody like come together, all these like super high caliber players, and just play some good old YuGiOh, physical YuGiOh, IRL.
Oh, so that's rough. Dynamiscus resolved, banishing yet another copy of Golden Lord. So unless Melvin's playing 3 copies of Golden Lord, all of his Golden Land traps are vanilla monsters, level 5.
Feels good. The Battle of the Trap Monsters. I just realized both of these decks, they utilize trap monsters, which is hilarious. I used to always be fond of the trap monsters, like the really gimmicky ones from Battle Pack when they were used in draft and stuff like that. Very very cool idea that they actually ended up being pretty relevant. And Paleozoic less relevant, obviously.
That is right, chat. It looks like the Conquistador popped the Golden Lord before Dynamiscus resolved. That was a good heads-up play by Melvin. It just looked like it because there was another card banished, and it looked like a monster. So he's going to attack over one of the Dynamiscuses.
I'm sure you'll probably get the Paleo deck list from this. We didn't require a deck list for today's event. Like I said, the day 2 event is usually much less competitive. The stakes aren't as high. It's much more of a casual atmosphere. There's no top cut or anything like that. But I know that Andres Torres, he plays for TCG Collectibles, and they do a lot of social media and a lot of deck profiles and a lot of YouTube content. So I wouldn't be surprised to see that on their channel. I know DeBlessin was here yesterday doing his champion deck profile, so you'll probably see that on the Blessed YuGiOh YouTube channel, so definitely check them out. And then obviously subscribe to our channel if you haven't already. We will be posting 1 round a day on our YouTube channel, completely free, minus the advertisements that you might have to skip through.
All right, so he resolved a copy of Halquero, banishing one of the Toadally Awesomes, it looks like. Andres drew for turn, switches to defense, and Andres is looking like he's now in a defensive standpoint compared to before, where the Torrential was a huge tempo swing. Yeah, if I were him, I definitely would have made a Toad, and he scoops it up. Yeah,
Oof.
Yeah, that Torrential was game changing for Melvin. I think definitely that was a mistake, not reading Torrential. Melvin wins game 1, going to the side decks. I'd imagine both of these players have something for the mirrors. Red Reboot is not an option. These decks definitely can't kill you in 1 turn. So I'd imagine Lightning Storms and Feather Duster. Maybe a copy of Twin Twister here and there.
Yeah, Twin would be pretty good. I mean, both of them have ways to recur their traps.
Twin would be actually really good in Andres' deck because you can Twin, discard a Paleo, and then if Melvin wants to respond with one of the traps that's targeted to gain some value, Andres is going to gain some value, so it puts added pressure in regards to Melvin's activations of those. So it further increases the percentage of Twin Twister resolving, destroying the traps instead of Melvin trying to gain value. Yeah, exactly, Dean. Instead of making Opabinia, Toad would have actually protected it from it. And actually would have kept the Frog engine going because Toad would have just added back Swap Frog, go for Rodentone, because we did not see a single copy of Rodentone anywhere. Yeah, Witcher Strike was in Paulo's deck, or one of the top 4 teams of Paulo's deck. Witcher Strike was in one of the top 4 decks. I saw it. So I would imagine Melvin used some configuration of cards to maybe fit Witcher Strike in, and maybe Andres doesn't know or comprehend or respect even Witcher Strike's existence. So
I wouldn't even think twice about my opponent having that card.
Yeah, but I mean, if I'm 99% sure it was in Paulo's deck, and since Paulo did so well with it, everybody saw his deck list. Now everybody in that mindset of the good players are on Witcher Strike. I got to be careful. So I don't know. Yeah, and Twin going second especially, seeing that extra card, is giving you access further to the Frog Engine. This way, even if you draw just a Rodent Toad or a dupe, not even just Swap Frog, you can Twin, discard a Paleo. If you respond to it, special summons the Paleo, and then normal summon any level 2 water monster, being Toad, Rodent Toad, or Swap Frog, and guarantees you the Toad that way. And it clears 2 back row, theoretically. Alright, so Andres is just about done siding up. Melvin's still considering a few card choices. Again, we don't have deck lists from the event, so I don't know exactly what they're siding in. But I'd imagine, since Melvin's playing Border Eldlich, it would be some variation of Paulo's list. Cotton's. Why am I talking about Paulo's list? He's playing Zoo Eldlich. Yeah, definitely. Jesse's deck was revolutionary. He was playing Divine Wrath. He was playing Dynamiscus. He was playing a bunch of value cards.
Oh, man, Divine Wrath.
Yeah, that was a bit of a meme, but in theory, it actually makes sense. Oh, that's a good one, Full Tool. It's literally Battle of the Tauruses.
I just realized that.
That's funny. I like that one. All right, and imagine Andres goes first.
Is there any benefit of going second in a trap mirror match? I know
Not
sometimes they do it going second to throw your opponent off if they're both go first decks.
But generally,
probably different here, right?
The only reason why you would select to go second against a trap deck willingly is because you're a combo deck and you can utilize your entire deck through 1-2 card combos. So I honestly would never, in a trap mirror, I would never tell my opponent to go first. So he opened swap and water. Now we are going to see Toadally Awesome. Turn 1 from Andres Torres. That's going to be a huge tempo swing.
That's ideal.
And Rodent Totem.
Yeah,
definitely hits it. Yeah, Rodent Totem's going to hit the yard and create a Toadally Awesome. Here we go. He's going to set a few cards, probably 3. Yep. And draws for turn, standby, detaching. I would have actually detached Swap Frog here, just for the sheer fact that if Melvin sets up Sanguine Halquero, that Rodent Totem could get banished. So I definitely would have detached the Swap Frog here. There's just small little instances. It looks like he's going to set 5, potentially. Yep. Here we go, YuGiOh.
Yep.
Draw. Standby phase, attempting to activate swap, or do something draw phase. Yep. So standby's Toad is going to attempt to activate. Melvin could Solemn Strike this, and that would be potentially big, but then he has Rodent Toad set up. He's going to add another water monster. He's going to add the Toadally Awesome back from the graveyard to the extra deck, and then banish Dupe Frog to summon Rodent Toad and make that same Toadally Awesome. So, okay. He ended up striking it anyway. Toad's going to replace itself back to the extra deck, it looks like. This way he keeps his Frog Engine alive. Now, it's interesting. Oh, he added back Swap, it looks like. Looks like he's debating on which one he wants to add back. See, now that he has his Frog Engine going, I'd keep my Toads in this scenario. It looks like he's Halqueroing and chaining Sanguine. So this is the instance where, speaking of, where that Rodent Totem is about to get banished. And I guess Andres already selected his target to add back. I guess this is in response to that. So Melvin, I'd assume, is going to go after the Rodent Totem. What happened? Why is that Halquera not banishing anything?
Is that a Dino Missus from Melvin?
I'm very confused. There was 4 monsters in the graveyard. Dupe, Swap, Ronin, Toad. He banished Swap Frog. Wow. Okay, so Toad just didn't add any... I didn't see him add anything back off Toad. He missed that activation. No. Oh, no. Yeah, Andres missed the Toad ad. And also, Melvin just did not banish the Rodent Totem. Melvin banished a frog monster instead of banishing the Rodent Totem. And Andres forgot to add back from Toad. That's a mistake from each player, it looks like. Checking his banish now.
He banished
Toad.
Toad.
Okay, so Toad added the swap, and then he went to banish that instead. Okay. All right, so he books the Golden Lord to get his Paleos in the graveyard. There we go. Yep. So now any further Halqueras or Conquistadors do nothing unless Melvin has access to another Sanguine. Yeah, because I didn't see Melvin like point to the card in which he was targeting, so I didn't know exactly what had happened. Let's see. Let's see. Harpy's Feather Duster for Andres. That is huge. Because now if Melvin decides to respond with a trap card, that Candina in the graveyard is going to special summon itself. That's rough. So he's going to chain the Sanguine, and he's going to chain that. He's going to respond with Halquera. That's intriguing. Halquera isn't going to do anything because that's going to resolve before the Sanguine. So that activation theoretically is fine. Because he can't activate another one. Yep. Okay. That resolves. The Sanguine is going to special summon another copy of Golden Lord.
I accidentally subbed to PBG Gaming Live instead of this one.
Oh, no.
What? That channel exists? Who has PBG Gaming Live? How dare they?
So,
oh man, try to talk to Twitch and see if you can. I think if you reach out to them very very fast, you can probably cancel that somehow. Man, that sucks.
Yeah, so that Harpy's Feather Duster was such a huge tempo swing for Andres. Now he's gonna attempt to make either Opabinia to search for Dynamiscus. Actually, yeah, that might be a play. Search for Dynamiscus, banish the other Golden Lord. And then I would see a line that he can attempt to make a Toadally Awesome and keep up Opabinia, but I guess not. There we go. Standby. Toad's effect. I would imagine that resolve. But now Melvin has access to every single Golden Land Eldlich card in his game. Oh, he doesn't have any more frogs. Did that get negated? No, it didn't get negated. It didn't detach. Andres is out of frogs. Oh, no. That's huge. Oh, no. See, that's why I definitely would have checked my banished. Because if I didn't... oh, no. I would have went the line of Opabinia searching for Dynamiscus, banishing that Golden Lord before any traps have a chance to activate in the graveyard, and a card in his hand. Attempt to detach the trap. Attempt to special summon it back. Oh, man. If you play Gravity Control, you could actually still make Toad. Put the Opabinia in the extra monster zone. Oh, man. That's rough. I would hope one of those cards is a Dynamiscus set. Dude, this match is getting me hyped, yo. I literally just want to play Paleo again. This is crazy. I was retired yesterday. I don't want to be retired anymore. I want to play Paleo.
Time to unretire.
Oh, my goodness. Storming Mirror Force. Yo. What? Yikeronis. Let's see. So, yeah, he's just going to get a bunch of traps now.
Yeah, I like these kind of matchups because there's a lot more interaction. I mean, they're both like very grindy decks.
This really, really, really tests the technical play of both players. Alrighty, so we've got about 8 minutes left in time for these players. Let's see. He's going to negate Golden Lord summon from graveyard.
Finally here. So you want to fill me in? I see.
Andres threw a curveball and is playing Paleo now.
I see. I know. Froggy Boy is playing your deck.
I know, dog.
Has he banished all his frogs yet?
He actually did at one point. He was attempted to activate Toad and detached and looked through his deck. No frogs. Did not check desires.
Oh, my God. Oh, my God.
And there was a line where he could have made Opabinia and Toad, but he decided to just summon Toad and get a frog out, but literally, no frogs. Yeah, this doesn't look good for Andres at all. There were a few missteps from both players, but less on Melvin's part, actually. He has Andres has the game plan right, but Melvin knows to. He's trying to Dynamiscus all the Golden Lords, but Melvin just conk pops his own Golden Lord, which is correct. But it just looks like once the Eldlich deck gets going, and there's no Opabinia, no Toad, and Andres just scoops. Yep.
Yeah.
Quick 2-0. Very, very interesting grindy match, but Andres couldn't pull it out. That misstep with the Toad and having no frogs left in deck really was impactful.